Hello Simlies, it's Deligracy here with another speed build. This is part 2 of the haunted house build. I'm excited for this part because we get into the fun stuff, which is furnishing. Yay! For the next half hour, we're just going to be hanging out and chatting about the speed build, probably going off on some unrelated tangents as well, as I always do. But good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending what time you're watching and where you're watching this from. Basically, part 1 of this speed build, we created a somewhat Victorian-inspired house. It wasn't like full-blown Victorian architecture, but it kind of has a bit of that feel to it. But yeah, I kind of wanted it to be like an old mansion, because you know how old mansions were actually just kind of big houses. They weren't like the mansions these days that you have. So yeah, it's like a sizey home. It's got 3 bedrooms. It's got, I think, 3 living areas, kitchen, formal dining room. In the kitchen, there's a casual dining room. Then we have a bit of an office and 3 bathrooms and some secret hidden rooms and a greenhouse. So there you go. It's on the gallery. Just look up Deligracy if you would. That's my ID or username. So if you search Deligracy, just make sure your filters aren't filtering me out with a capital D, and you should find me just fine. Anyway, so we're starting off with the formal dining room, and I had a lot of fun kind of picking these mustard. I like to call this color baby poo green. There's also baby poo brown, but this is like baby poo green, and it's like perfect for this build, I think, because the green looks really old and dusty. I think those curtains do in this context. And we've got the nice old school chairs and some new wallpaper from the Spooky Stuff pack. So I liked that. And at the end of this, there will be screenshots. But unfortunately, I forgot to get the floor plan screenshots. I'm really sorry about that, because someone did request it in the comments, which I just read on the last video. So sozzles. I have to try and remember to put floor plan screenshots in all speed builds, but I forget. So naughty Deli. Bad Deli. Kind of an ongoing theme in this speed build is that there's a lot of old paintings that haven't been hung on the walls. So I just lowered them to the ground so it looks like they've just been lent against the walls. And there's a lot of heavy curtains. So I'm not really a fan of heavy curtains at all. It's not my style. I find them to block out a lot of light and to become really dusty. So I thought for this speed build, they were perfect. There's a few Halloween novelty items throughout the house because it is Halloween soon when I'm recording this. So I definitely had to, you know, scatter a few pumpkins through the house and put a few creepy spiders on the walls. And I love this entrance room. It's probably one of my favorite parts of the house because I love the grand piano kind of tucked away in the corner there next to the staircase. And I love in this room how all the chairs are just scattered around the place messily as if they'd kind of been moved around over time, and there's not really a sense of what this entrance room is meant to be. It's just like you walk in and you're like, that's creepy. There's also a lot of stacked books around the place and a lot of bookshelves. And particularly in the main bedroom, we're going to have a big stack of books as well. So whoever lives here, which in my mind would be vampires, I think that would suit them quite nicely. This is also an awesome house for storytelling, I think, because there's a lot of things in the house that could maybe lead to a storyline in your Sims game. So, for instance, the 2 hidden rooms we have built, they have portals to other worlds. So one's got the wormhole generator in it that I think you acquire it through the science career, or if you get to a certain stage of the rocket science skill, you can also get it or build it. And I thought they were kind of interesting. And also some of the rooms are a lot newer than the others. So this dining room looks a little bit more grand, and there is one lounge room that looks very grand, whereas another lounge room is completely haunted and kind of forgotten about and old school. So it's the same with the bedrooms. One of the children's bedrooms is really old looking, and then the other one, which is a little girl's bedroom, is really quite new looking and the brightest room in the house. So I thought that was kind of creepy, the inconsistencies of the rooms and how they've aged over time. So I don't know. I'd love to hear what kind of storylines you might think of for this home. I've already read some comments on the last haunted house video, and they were really, really interesting. I really loved them. They were very imaginative. Trying to find out a nice tiled wallpaper for this part of the house was really difficult for the kitchen, because none of them looked really old, or old enough that would suit a haunted house. So I ended up going with these crisscross tiles in like a brown color. This color isn't quite baby poo brown, but we're getting close to it. Also a lot of urns around the kitchen, which might be kind of weird. And lots of these old cabinets too. And then this is like a little table, so if you don't want your Sims to be in the formal dining room, this is a more casual one, and there's a plant there. So it looks like the kitchen's kind of lived in a little bit, which is nice. And also the paintings on the walls, there's a picture of a man and a lady in the dining room. So those pictures I've used over and over again throughout the house, maybe 2 or 3 times each, and the reason for that is because they change. If you watch them, they become headless. They like lose their heads. And I thought that was really cool, and I just, knowing me throughout my gameplay, I wouldn't mind having multiples of them if I got to watch them change a lot through gameplay. So that's why I've used them over again, and of course because we have a limited amount of you know, what do you call it? Limited amount of paintings. Yes, and wall decorations. Just putting in a few things as like an evil gnome in the backyard. I thought it would be cool to have like an old train wreckage in there. And that's what I was trying to do, but in the end it didn't really look that realistic. So I kind of wish I did it. I don't know, I'm sure I'll do that for another speed build, maybe for a more industrial speed build. But we did put this little creepy train set in the little kids' bedroom here. So they're in the toys section or the kids section, and they're quite cute. I was going to put a creepy crib in there, but the crib was too nice. The crib was too new looking. Hopefully at some point they'll open up a Sims 4 store where we can just buy some individual items that are a little bit different. That would be nice. And I use a lot of lanterns next to the beds because they continue with that old theme that maybe someone's just living here temporarily who have found the haunted house and they've just got their kind of camper light that they've been carrying with them. There's also a lot of candelabras for obvious reasons, and I kind of thought the portrait on the wall above that, you guys might have noticed in my latest LP that I released, I think it was Twins Part 40 maybe, the volume was up so loud, and I didn't realize during editing because I wear one earphone on my ear and one earphone off my ear, and then I was talking on Skype to couple of people, and then I just didn't realize. So I was just limiting the sound then, because with the music on whilst building I was like, holy dolly, this is like so loud. This lounge room is the old lounge room, so it's just like creepy as looking, and I decided to put a little diagonal fireplace in there. Did I keep the TV? I thought the TV was too new for this house. Oh, maybe I keep it because, you know, if you want to get your Sims fun level up, then you might want that there. And they've also got a little CD player or cassette player if you want to go old school, or a stereo in any case. And then, the creepy fruit bowl picture. Some of these rugs were pretty cool from the Halloween stuff pack or spooky stuff pack, but I was kind of torn between wanting to use all of those novelty items for Halloween or whether I wanted to actually make it look like a realistic haunted house. So I think in the end it has a nice balance. I think it's okay. Oh, I really need a drink of water. I'm getting like a dry throat. Excuse me. Today it's Saturday in Melbourne, and it's a beautiful sunny day. I'm excited because boy Deligracy just flew in from China, or got back from China. He was there for work, so he's back and I'm going to visit him soon, and I have a Freddo frog to give him, so hopefully he'll like that. And he was also in Vietnam too, and he really liked Vietnam, so I'm not sure how many Simlies are from Vietnam, but I know YouTube's pretty much banned in China, so I don't think there's many Chinese Simlies, unfortunately. Using these older mirrors, they're some of my favorite items in The Sims 4. I love those mirrors. And I wish we could size them up. When you try and size up mirrors, I don't think this has been fixed, or I'm not aware of it. They don't really work properly. Oh, there's a tile there, a tile missing. Oh, I pull a sneaky, cover that up. Oh yeah, because I was having a lot of difficulty with things, just deleting them. Whenever I try and cover up that tile, like walls delete themselves. I know it's because you're meant to create everything into rooms to begin with, but it's just, find it difficult to plan ahead and build that way. I just like to build as I go. So I'm not a huge fan of the building, I suppose, what would you call it? The building engine of the game. It's just, I don't know, I've always struggled with it since day one and I'm still not getting used to it. So I don't know if they'll be able to improve that over time. A bit of incense here and there. I'm a huge fan of incense. My favorite kind of incense is Nag Champa, which I thought it was an Indian incense, but I could definitely be wrong. But that's my absolute favorite smell. And if I move into a new house, I kind of learnt this from my mum. We burn some Nag Champa incense because it smells good and it just kind of makes the place feel more like home, especially when I was living at uni or college, as some of you guys would call it. I, like, to begin with, you feel a little uncomfortable when you understandably first move into a new room and you're kind of living away from your family for the first time. So it was nice to just have a little bit of incense going on. I think it's illegal though. Apparently you're not allowed any candles or anything burning in your dorm rooms. So, but I'm a badass, so I don't care. No, I do care, but I don't care. Actually, speaking of which, here comes the tangents. When I was at uni living on residence, there was a fire alarm that went off at like 4 in the morning, and me and my roommate were like, what is going on? If this is a drill, this is so not funny. Like, this is the worst time for a drill. And I got up and then we're like, oh my God, I think this is actually real. And I don't know what was wrong with me, but I quickly put on makeup and then we went downstairs and it was a real fire drill because someone had been very naughty and they were smoking. You can imagine what they were smoking. And they set off the fire alarm because of the smoke. And then, like 5 fire trucks came and everyone was evacuated, like so many students at 4 in the morning in pajamas. And I looked fabulous because I put my makeup on and I was like, why did I even do that? Why did I even care? So it's very interesting what you do in times of stress. And let me tell you right now, you should not do that. You should just get out straight away. I think I had a feeling, I guess I sensed there was nothing wrong, but you never know. So naughty Deli once again. This is going to be more of a formal living area. We make it a lot more colorful after a little bit of time. We get a nice wallpaper in, and this room's probably the most extravagant in the whole house. It's really fancy. And I thought that was kind of eerie too, because they just randomly have this grand lounge living room. So pretty weird. And lots of red, rich colors. Red and yellow I love together. I kind of wish I kept those lights as yellow as opposed to red. But yeah, red and yellow. It's like McDonald's, but in a classy way. And we're going to put, once again, I think a big painting on the wall here. Which one are we going to do? Oh, we're going to use the headless one again. Yeah, I do use it a few times, but if you don't want the same ones over and over again, you can obviously delete them. I also like putting lots of different mirrors and different shapes around the place because I think that's creepy too, for some reason. Even though it's, for a lot of people, they would find it quite glamorous. I just think it's freaky. And putting in lots of plants. There is tons of greenery in this house, so we're actually going to make a greenhouse as well. That's like horrendously overgrown, but we like that. Oh, here we go. There's a lot of gold and yellow features, so it's a very, very extravagant room. The dining room kind of looks somewhat fancy too. Hang around for the screenshots because before I took the screenshots, I changed the coloring of the lighting in the rooms, and let me tell you, when you start playing around with making those lighting fixtures radiate different colors, it looks so cool and so creepy. I actually did one of my favorite Sims builds that I've ever done. Probably almost my favorite Sims build ever. I did the supernatural house in The Sims 3. And if you just Google Deligracy supernatural house, it should come up. But I'll put a link in the description down below if I remember. But I adored that house just because it was so creepy. It was so experimental. And I discovered a whole heap of new cheats that I'd never used before to do with like creating smoke in the game and green smoke and like green smoke coming out of the fireplaces like the Flu Network and Harry Potter and stuff. And it was just so much fun. I loved that build. And I suppose a lot of that build was inspired in this build too. But I think that's probably my favorite Sims 3 build ever. And that's a big call. It wouldn't be a haunted house without having some gravestones around the place. I found those through the cheat. You turn on testing cheats enabled, and then you put in the cheat bb.show hidden objects. You then go to the search bar in the build buy mode area, and you type in debug, which you can kind of see on the screen right now, and then all of these items you'd usually find during gameplay appear. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. These jars are like pickled animals or something, like really weird, lots of rocks, like creepy as stuff. And then I thought those red lights were kind of cool up in the top corner. Those lights influence your Sims to feel romantic. So I kind of thought that would be an interesting part of the story in this haunted house. And then this is a weird office. So this room, there's just random stuff in here. We have the cauldron, we have bookshelves kind of randomly scattered, and then we have a whole heap of different objects and items, and one of those big music players. I always forget what they're called. Not a record player, they have a more fancy name. And yeah, they're pretty cool. An outdoor chess table would have been maybe cool. Yeah, that thing, that big yellow thing. What is that music player? I don't know what you call them, but it's cool. There's also the holographic thing there too, and we're going to add in a table just here because I was like, we need a bit of change in height around the room, otherwise if everything's on the floor it'll just look boring and drab. There's a few weird sculptures, kind of stuff like that old boat we have. We're going to pop in a few pumpkin heads in here, and then I can't really recall what else. I suppose books. I'm obviously struggling here a little bit. I just wasn't sure what to put in this room, but just random rocks and artifacts, I suppose, that might have been found along the way. A few animals around the room, boxes. It's just where whatever character your sim is, this is, I guess, the room where they would do their work, or if they're evil, maybe figure out their evil plans, or perhaps they've just ended up here and they're a scientist or something like that and they're a good sim. Who knows? The world is your oyster. No, what am I trying to say? Not the world is your oyster. There is a world of opportunities out there. And yeah, just putting in some paintings. I don't know, I think it's looking right. I have a 21st tonight to go to, and I have no idea what to wear. I was trying to figure it out before. When I woke up this morning, I slept in and it was like the best sleep in ever. I was really sore from boxing yesterday. I did a class, and for the first time ever, oh, by the way, this is like the basement with the wormhole generator. So this is the only part that looks really futuristic, which I thought was an interesting contrast to the level above. So this is a basement. You get to this basement through going through the middle of a maze we created in the backyard. And then once you get to the center of that maze, the staircase leads you downwards to this futuristic basement, which is kind of cool. What was I saying? Yeah, I'm going to a 21st tonight. Oh, I had boxing. For the first time ever, I was put with a guy instead of a girl, and oh my gosh, it made me box so much harder. And also being the person receiving the boxing with the mitts. Oh my gosh. Terrifying, but great. It was really good. So I woke up really sore and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to wear tonight. So I don't know. I'll probably post a photo on Instagram, or OTG, aka outfit of the day. Yeah. Just playing around with the upstairs area again. We've popped back up, figuring out what else should go in this little boy's room. We just needed to rearrange it a little bit and add a few bits and bobs in there. And I quite like this Halloween purple rug because I feel like it looks new but still has that haunted feeling about it. So I don't know, maybe the kid in this room is just moved in there. And also that dinosaur decal looks newer too. So it's kind of like he's wandered around the house and found the old swords and then popped that in his room, and then he's got his newer things too. This toy box looked so stark in this environment though. I think I just get rid of it because I was like, I don't like it. And yeah, what's this? Oh, okay. So this room is the room I was talking about earlier for the young girl. And it's very light, very bright. We started off as looking a little bit haunted. I really liked the purple coloring. Like, I like how it looks now, but I thought it's looking too much like the rest of the house. So that's why we introduced a few other things. Kind of into purple right now. I actually swapped my toothbrush for a purple toothbrush this morning. Fun fact. What color is your toothbrush? Comment down below. That's a fun question to ask, Simlies. So yeah, we're lightening up the room. We've got light floorboards, light walls, lots of nice things. And I think someone in the last video commented about a storyline where a girl lived in this house. She grew up and then went back to the house after she went through a divorce with her own daughter. And the first room she's fixed up is her daughter's room. And she's kind of broke, but they're going to fix up the house bit by bit as they earn more money. And I thought that was a really nice storyline. Here's a perfect example of The Sims 4 not having enough swatches because this desk does not suit the wallpaper and flooring in terms of the timber. It's too orangey, and I was trying to use different darker colors, but I just wanted this room to be really, really light and bright, so I don't know. I love the dollhouse too. That could easily be creepy as well, so that's kind of perfect. But this is definitely a contemporary room in the house. It's not as creepy. And some of the roofing there that gets a little bit tricky, I've just covered up with some plants. That's always a good trick, to put some foliage around areas that might not be quite working for you. Out here, there's a few creative stations for kid Sims that they can entertain themselves with. They can keep their entertainment up, and that's always good. A couple of tarps here. So this area is like a happy area of the house and looking very lived in. Maybe there's just a kid who lives here and just like uses the kitchen, uses their bedroom, and that's why those are the only rooms that look lived in. I was going to use that medical item just there next to the bed because I thought it could be creepy, but there wasn't enough hospital things for it to actually be creepy because, you know, the reality is a lot of people might need some medical items in their bedroom, and I didn't want to like put just that there and be like, yeah, that's creepy, because I don't think that is. I think you can definitely go with that asylum theme where there's all this medical stuff everywhere and it would work out, but not just the one object. It's probably like just, yeah, I don't know. I thought that might be a little bit thoughtless. I don't know. This is the master bedroom, and I quite like this. I love the paintings. I love the orientation of this room, and I think, I don't know, I just want to like play in this house now. The more I talk about it, the more I want to actually like get into some gameplay here, but I have so many LPs at the moment, I don't think I can fit it in. Maybe later down the track. But there's all the books I was telling you guys about just a bit earlier. Lots and lots and lots of books. Mirror with lots of kind of ornamental work on it, and then we're going to be putting some of those haunted curtains up. Could have gone with the more fancy ones, but I just thought they were a little bit too fancy for this room. And yeah, we put some perfumes on the tables. So maybe they're, or cologne. It could be cologne. And chairs around the place. And it's just pretty much all coming together. That picture with the guy at the piano, when you put it in a haunted context, it is pretty freaky. I've never thought that about that painting before, but now I'm like, oh, I'm scared of that. I'm scared of the piano man. And yeah, I thought, they needed some kind of desk or dresser upstairs. So that's why we're popping all of these things in. And then, do we just put the ottoman there? I thought we had another object or just a few pot plants in there. Yeah, there's so many plants in this. It's like green plants everywhere. Plants are creepy. Maybe a green sim lives here. Who knows? This area, the double balcony, is probably one of my favorite parts of this house, or the other favorite part of the house compared to the entrance room, or as well as the entrance room, sorry. I do get a screenshot of this later, and I just love it. I love how it's all decrepit and overgrown, and there's all these like crazy plants on there. This is the main bathroom. Oh no, sorry. This is the master bedroom bathroom. That old toilet, I believe, is through the debug cheat. I don't know, can you get that normally? I thought it was through the debug cheat. And, oh yeah, and then I put some fish on the walls because fish in a bathroom kind of makes sense because you're surrounded by water. See the logic, you guys? There's this movie called Pee-wee Herman's Big Adventure, and this is a pretty old film. It was like made in the 90s or 90s, I think. And my dad used to play it to me when I was really little, so I grew up loving it. I actually showed one of my friends the Pee-wee Herman movie, and they totally freaked out because they thought it was weird. But I love this movie, and in his bathroom, the window is actually an aquarium. So cool. The relationship between fish and bathrooms. So cool. And this little room, you're probably wondering, like, what is she doing here? But this is the vampire sleeping room. So those rocks are kind of the idea of maybe their coffins underneath. And then it's got a portrait of a man and a portrait of a lady there. So that's that symbolizes that's the people who live there. Those are the vampires. And then maybe the master bedroom's just the cover-up. So I don't know. That door that leads to the vampire sleeping room could have been the secret bookshelf door maybe. So it's just like secretive. So no one actually knows they're vampires. Kind of like in Twilight. And yeah, for those of you who are wondering, I have read all the Harry Potters and Twilights. I did love those series. I think I prefer Harry Potter though a lot more, because it's just the bomb diggity. And finally, we're just working upstairs here, just filling in the space with a few living items, bookshelves all around that entrance area. So there's plenty of room for your Sims to go lounge around, read a good book, and lots of activities too. There's chess tables, there's the kids' entertainment items, there's the TV, there's painting stuff. Really, your Sims aren't going to get bored in this haunted house. And then this is an extra lounge room, which I end up giving it inspired by pumpkins at Halloween. I give it like a bit of an orange hue in the screenshots when I actually make the lighting an orangey color, and I quite liked the effect of it. So yeah, that's where the inspiration came from. So it's kind of reddy and then orangey in the end. In a more muted way, so that's good. And of course you don't want to forget any balconies, so we're just putting a few things around the place too. But I'll be really interested to hear what you think of this speed build. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I did enjoy creating it. I worked on this every day after work for about a week, and I just didn't rush it, and I took my time, and it was really enjoyable, which is probably why this is such a long part, furnishing it. And yeah, this is the last bathroom. We're just putting in a few candles to set the mood. If I have a bath, I do actually have candles. I haven't had a bath for ages. I mean, don't worry, I totally shower, but I haven't had a bath as such for ages. So I love having a bath watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, something trashy, something easy where you don't have to use your brain to watch it, lying back, or I'll just have nothing on and I'll just relax, enjoy the bubbles. You always need bubbles in the bathroom. It's the best. It's a good way to relax. I did that during my exams when I was like really stressed and anxious. This is a greenhouse. I probably would have liked to use bigger windows, but the only other windows I felt like they were too modern and or too big to put on the diagonal walls and the walls of 3. So lots of pots around the place. We're going to use the Move Objects on sheet to put actual real plants in the pots because I just wanted them to be really green and messy, I suppose. Lots of different kinds of trees, as if the person who lives here collects different trees and plants them. But of course you could remove them and actually use the pots yourselves for your Sims to plant their own things in. So that's another opportunity. Coming into screenshots just in a second here, and go. There we are. So here's the exterior of the house. I did take these at night time, obviously, in the game, so it's a little bit hard to see, but depending on what monitor you're watching it on. I think it'll be okay on mobile devices because of the backlight is so bright. But anyways, there's a lot of the overgrown plants in the gutters and a few ghost lights around the house. I wish we could paint ceilings in The Sims 4. I really don't like those exposed parts of white. It's really annoying. And then the graveyard. So let's go into the door. How creepy is that little garden gnome? His eyes are like, ah. So this is the entrance room. You can see lots of things just kind of sprawled around the place, really random. I've changed the lighting to red and green in here and I think it looks creepy. There's a view from the upstairs looking downstairs. And the green baby poo green dining room just there. With the fancy chairs and tea set. And then here's the kitchen, looking a little bit more normal, but still scary. And then the scary lounge room. And the royal lounge room, which is just as scary. I think that's really creepy too. So yeah, you could actually make this into a community lot and just use it as a haunted house for your Sims to wander in on Halloween. That's another idea too. Here is the office with creepy animal pickled things in jars, like what? And then here's the bathroom. Quite a nice bathtub there. Master bedroom with the master painting and the creepy piano man painting in here. That's quite lit up. I didn't want to creep that out too much. And then here's the vampire rooms. So I thought that was pretty cool. Loving this little train set. Thought that was pretty cute. And then this is the girls' bedroom. So it's quite kid friendly if you want to move into here, apart from the fact it's freaking scary. Here is the kind of orange burnt lighting, which is cool. And we're just going to pop down to the basements here underneath the maze. Check out that futuristic place with the giant ghost gnome who's like, and then that's another portal to another world. Anyways, I hope you're having a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world, and I'll speak to you soon.